you've been watching a show that
Yes.
I heard has been hard to watch again. Literally.
I mean, I don't know if it's like quite as dark as The Long Night got, but there were some darker moments on the most recent episode. I gotta say, looked pretty okay on my TV, and it's not the newest TV, so maybe you gotta adjust some settings or turn off some lights or close the blinds.
Don't watch it on an iPad.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was one extended sequence in the most recent episode, but I still feel like House of the Dragon for me is hitting in the ways that I want a Game of Thrones style show to hit. I think you haven't gotten to past the time jump yet.
Since I came over to New York, I've been missing the last episode.
Yeah, so we're both still really enjoying it through the first 5. I've seen the first 7. I think they're still really managing all the like intricacies of the political power dynamics and the family feuds that fuel them really well. The thing that I think is really striking about how House of the Dragons has progressed versus how Thrones did up until like its last 2 seasons is just how much time they're covering, but they're doing it so much more effectively in House of the Dragon than they did in those late Thrones seasons. Like it's really cool to really get a sense of like we now have like a short history already through the first 7 episodes. It's been, 15-ish years, I think, in the history, in the timeline of the show.
Because you've had 2 time jumps. One that didn't really switch the characters. They just got older, and then I'm hoping that the new cast is good, because that's been my only thing. I really like Melly.
Really
liked the
Alcock, I think her name is. Millie Alcock. Yeah,
really
she's so good as the younger Rhaenyra. And I like Emma Darcy too, so I think I need to give her a little more time in the role. The other thing that's cool about the time jump is now we get to Olivia Cook, Alicent, and I'm really enjoying. Like,
she's a great actress.
She's a great actress, and they're kind of giving her the Cersei role in that she's like the darker, manipulative queen.
I mean, you saw that building up,
Yeah, I mean, I really love her in the part. I am like worried. It's interesting. I'm worried about some of my favorite actors potentially not having long runs on the show, but I don't know. I don't know where it's going to go, and it does consistently surprise me. Especially how much they're leaning into incest. They're like, that's the thing people really wanted from Game of Thrones is more incest storylines.
They ran the numbers, and they're like, these are the most rewatched episodes. We got the watch time.
I don't know. It's just kind of delicious in the way that it sets people up and has people stabbing each other in the back, and I'm also really enjoying just like getting the breakdowns from Alt Shift X, who I think does like an awesome job, and just like deepening my appreciation for the show as well. It's just a fun time, and I'm glad to have that back in my life every week.
No, it's out of all of the shows that I have on a weekly basis, without a doubt, this is number 1.
Yeah.
The only reason I haven't seen it and I've caught up on the Atlanta episodes is just because that's the one show where I appreciate it so much. I love Atlanta, but I could rewatch Atlanta like that. I want to make sure the first time I'm watching those Thrones episodes is back at home.
Absolutely. House of the Dragon, episode 5. I know not everybody is going to be caught up on this one right now. I don't want to necessarily get into too many specifics because of that, but this week was like another intense power struggle where allegiances and the freedoms that characters feel comfortable navigating all plays into the dramatic stakes. The way that this episode in particular navigates what happens when King Viserys is in a room versus what happens when he's not in a room, I did think was like very smart and very compelling. But beyond just the tug of war of it all, this week I think hit a new high in terms of what the show has been able to accomplish, because there is this like interpersonal storyline that, I gotta be honest, really got me. It's also, again, why they were so wise to cast Paddy Considine in the role of King Viserys, because he gives this extremely emotional speech, this monologue of an old man who's witnessed his family grow apart as he's watched over them, and the way in which it just sort of feels like a culmination of so many tensions in the show, and just this like respite from the tension to kind of acknowledge the humanity of these characters. It touched me in a way that I was not expecting the Dragon show to do. I got a little misty-eyed. I'm not gonna lie. I just want to be completely honest with you, since you're my inner cuties, and I think we have that kind of relationship now. It's good. This show's good. I wanted to be cynical about it and say that it couldn't really do the things that Game of Thrones did, but one season in, I am more into this show than I was one season into Game of Thrones. Whether or not it can keep that up, I don't know, but I've been pretty satisfied through 8 episodes. I know I might be a little more solidly in than maybe like the average person is, but there's also like a huge audience tuning out for this thing right now. I think it's averaging like 28 million viewers per episode. I don't know. I'm pretty I'm pretty into it. Classic reviews saying that he got extremely bored with the first episode. I don't know, man. I mean, first of all, were you into Game of Thrones? Second of all, you gotta like vibe with it. You gotta like get into like the dynamics of the characters for it to really kick in, for sure. But at the same time, I will say, like, these are long episodes. I don't know if I need over 60 minutes of Game of Thrones action per week. I'd be happy if it was like 52, 54. That being said, I don't know. I'm riding with it. I'm enjoying it. Julieta says she might consider watching it, but Game of Thrones burned me so bad. I agree. Like I said, I wanted to be very cynical about this one because that one took such a downward turn. But I don't know. I think I ultimately came down on the side of Benioff and Weiss were done with that show and tried to wipe their hands of it as like quickly and efficiently as possible, and gravely misjudged their ability to do so. And that doesn't necessarily mean that the property itself is bad. It just means that they probably should have taken a different approach if they wanted to maintain that show's legacy. I don't know. Like I said, I'm digging this one so far. It of all the big shows that are out right now, with your She-Hulks and your Andors and your Lord of the Ringses and whatever, I've tried them all. I've sampled. I'm working my way to them all, but House of the Dragon is the one that keeps me coming back.